You are about to watch a Top Hat production. Please subscribe and click on notifications. Enjoy the show.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? This is Charles Nolan, and I'm here to bring you a fantastic newscast for tonight. I hope that you are watching, sitting on the edge of your seat, because we are on the brink. America, Iran, and the shadow of war. Good evening. Tonight's extended special report examines the escalating tensions between the United States and the Islamic Republic of Iran. The leadership decisions shaping this confrontation and the human reality faced by millions of Iranian citizens living under economic strain, political repression, and uncertainty about the future. Iran's ultimate authority rests with Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, who controls the armed forces, judiciary, and state security apparatus. While Iran elects a president and parliament, major strategic decisions, including nuclear policy, protest response, and relations with the United States, are made by the Supreme Leader and the senior clerical leadership. Opposite Tehran stands U.S. President Donald Trump, whose administration has maintained intense economic sanctions and military deterrence in the region. The White House says the goal is to prevent Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons and to curb its influence across the Middle East. Iranian leaders call the pressure campaign economic warfare. But beyond geopolitics lies a deeper story, the experience of ordinary Iranians. Years of sanctions have weakened the economy, driven inflation, and reduced access to imported medicine and goods. Many families struggle to afford basic necessities. Young people face unemployment and limited prospects, fueling frustration that has periodically erupted into protests. Large demonstrations in recent years have been sparked by economic hardship, political repression, and demands for greater personal freedoms. Women, students, labor groups, and ethnic minorities have all taken part. Protesters have called for accountability, social reforms, and an end to strict enforcement of social codes. Security forces have responded with mass arrests, internet shutdowns, and heavy policing. Human rights organizations report that many demonstrators have been detained, and some have faced harsh sentences. Iranian authorities argue they are protecting national stability against what they describe as foreign-backed unrest. Despite the crackdown, smaller protests and acts of civil resistance continue to appear in different cities. The level of visible unrest rises and falls, but underlying dissatisfaction remains widespread, particularly among younger generations, connected through social media and satellite broadcasting. International concern about Iran often focuses on its nuclear program. Tehran insists its nuclear activities are peaceful. The United States and several allies fear the program could produce nuclear weapons. Oversight by the International Atomic Energy Agency has revealed both cooperation and disputes over access to facilities. Diplomatic efforts frequently move through the United Nations, where resolutions call for transparency and limits on enrichment. Yet divisions among global powers have made enforcement inconsistent, leaving negotiations fragile. Meanwhile, regional tensions remain high. Iran supports allied arms groups across the Middle East, a strategy designed to project influence without direct confrontation. The powerful Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps oversees many of these operations, as well as internal security responsibilities. U.S. officials say these networks threaten American forces and allies. Iran argues they provide strategic defense against hostile neighbors. Flashpoints include shipping routes through the Strait of Hormuz where confrontations at sea have periodically raised fears of wider conflict. Back inside Iran, citizens face the consequences of isolation. Currency fluctuations and shortages have forced many businesses to close. Educated professionals often seek opportunities abroad, contributing to a brain drain that weakens long-term economic prospects. Women have been at the forefront of social protests, challenging restrictions on dress codes and public behavior. Students have organized demonstrations demanding academic freedom and economic reform. Workers have staged strikes over unpaid wages and unsafe conditions. Authorities maintain tight control through surveillance and policing, yet dissent continues in quieter forms: graffiti, online campaigns, and cultural expression. Many Iranians say they want change but fear the consequences of open defiance. What actions are being taken against the United States? Iran has relied on asymmetric tactics, cyber operations, regional proxies, and strategic pressure points, rather than direct warfare. Officials in Washington say these actions target U.S. interests and allies across the region. In response, the United States maintains sanctions and a significant military presence, including naval forces and air defenses. Supporters say deterrence prevents escalation. Critics warn it increases the risk of accidental conflict. Regional powers such as Israel and Saudi Arabia strongly oppose Iran's regional ambitions and support firm measures to limit its influence. Other nations attempt mediation to prevent a larger war that could destabilize global energy markets. Many viewers are asking, is the Iranian leadership killing its own citizens? Human rights groups have documented deaths during protest crackdowns in past years, along with allegations of excessive force. Iranian officials dispute. They're trying to say they're not doing anything. During protest crackdowns in past years, along with allegations of excessive force, Iranian officials dispute some of these claims, saying security forces respond only when demonstrations become violent. Independent verification is often difficult due to restricted media access. Families of detainees continue to seek information about pressure on Tehran. Inside the country, fear of arrests keeps many critics silent, though underground networks persist. Despite repression, the Iranian population is not monolithic. Some citizens support the government, particularly in rural areas, or among those who value stability and national independence. Others favor reform or systemic change. This diversity of views complicates predictions about Iran's internal future. What is President Trump waiting for? Analysis suggests several factors shaping U.S. decision-making. First is intelligence, confirming the status of Iran's nuclear program and military activities. Second is alliance coordination, consulting partners before taking major action. Third is risk calculation, weighing the potential consequences of military strikes against diplomatic alternatives. Direct bombing of Iran would carry enormous dangers. Iran has prepared defensive measures, including dispersed facilities and missile capabilities that could target regional bases and shipping lanes. A strike could ignite a broader conflict involving multiple countries. Economic impacts would be immediate. Disruption of oil shipments could drive global prices sharply higher, affecting economies worldwide. Civilian populations across the region could face instability and displacement. For this reason, many officials emphasize diplomacy as the preferred path. Negotiations, even indirect ones, aim to reduce tensions and establish limits acceptable to both sides. Progress is slow, often interrupted by new incidents or political pressures. Meanwhile, ordinary Iranians watch events with mixed emotions: fear of war, frustration with economic hardship, and hope for a future less defined by isolation. In the United States, military families and policymakers alike understand the stakes of any escalation. As we close this special report, the central question remains unresolved. Will confrontation give way to compromise, or will the cycle of pressure and resistance intensify? Inside Iran, citizens continue navigating daily life under sanctions, political control, and uncertainty. Some still protest quietly and symbolically. Others focus on survival, caring for families, and preserving cultural identity in difficult circumstances. Leadership in Tehran insists it will defend national sovereignty. Leaders in Washington insist they will protect American interests and allies. Between those positions lies a narrow path where diplomacy must operate. History shows that U.S. Iran relations have repeatedly moved between crisis and negotiation. Whether the coming months bring renewed talks or heightened confrontation will depend on decisions made by leaders and the resilience of the people affected by those decisions. For now, there is no confirmed plan for bombing Iran. Thank God. But contingency plans exist as they do in many international disputes. The hope expressed by diplomats worldwide is that such plans never move from paper to reality. The world continues to watch closely, aware that the consequences of miscalculation would reach far beyond any single nation. Thank you for joining us for this in-depth 20-minute report. We will continue to monitor developments and bring you updates as they unfold. God bless and have a good night.